Elvis Presley died on August 16th, 1977. He was only 42 years old. This was a tragedy for his fans. It was also a massive problem for his estate. Elvis was a global icon. He still owed a lot of money when he passed. His fortune, estimated at around $5 million, was quickly eaten by taxes and operating costs. People wondered if Graceland, his beloved home, would have to be sold. It was a serious mess. But then something amazing happened. The estate did not just survive, it thrived. It became a business empire. Today, Elvis Presley Enterprises, or EPE, is worth hundreds of millions of dollars. It generates revenue from music, movies, merchandise, and tourism. Graceland itself draws hundreds of thousands of visitors every year. It is like a pilgrimage site. How do you manage the legacy of a dead superstar? How do you turn a personal tragedy into a sustainable business? Who made the tough decisions? What leadership was needed? This is not just a story about music. It is a story about sharp business moves. It is about understanding a brand. It is about intellectual property. It is about making hard choices when the world is watching. It is a textbook example for business schools everywhere. 16 key moments stand out. Each one was a challenge. Each one offered a lesson, and some questions still hang in the air. Number 16, did the debt crisis force a new way of thinking? Elvis Presley was one of the biggest stars in the world, but he was not a great businessman. When he died in 1977, his estate faced severe financial problems. Many people thought he was incredibly rich. That was not the full truth. He spent a lot. His manager, Colonel Tom Parker, took a very large share of his earnings, sometimes 50% or more. This left the king with less cash than you might imagine for someone so famous. After his death, the estate was valued at around $10 million. But then inheritance taxes and other expenses hit hard. Some reports put the estate's liquid assets at less than $1 million. Taxes alone were in the millions. There were also outstanding bills. The annual upkeep of Graceland was a significant cost. The estate was quickly running out of money. It looked like a losing battle. Priscilla Presley, Elvis's former wife, was appointed co-executor of his will for Lisa Marie Presley, their daughter. Lisa Marie was the sole heir. Priscilla had to act fast. She saw the danger. The estate was on the verge of bankruptcy. This was not just a minor hiccup. This was a crisis that threatened to erase Elvis's financial legacy. It pushed the administrators to think differently. They could not just manage a music catalog. They had to create a new business. This financial pressure was immense. It forced a change in strategy. It showed that even a global icon can have a poorly managed personal fortune. It highlighted the importance of proper estate planning. It also showed that relying too heavily on one income stream, even a huge one, can be risky. The debt crisis was a wake-up call. It was a catalyst for transformation. Without that urgent need, maybe the drastic steps taken later would never have happened. What if the executors had just sold off assets piecemeal? Would Elvis's legacy be diminished? Could Graceland have become a shopping mall? And what hidden debts did Elvis have that never came to light? Number 15 was opening Graceland, a brilliant gamble or a desperate act. The financial situation was dire. Priscilla Presley and the other executors faced a huge decision. How could they generate significant income? Graceland was costing a fortune to maintain. Beautiful home, but it was not making money. In fact, it was bleeding it. The solution they came up with was audacious for the time. They decided to open Graceland to the public as a museum. This was in 1982, 5 years after Elvis's death. It was a huge risk. No major star's home had been turned into a tourist attraction like this before. There were concerns. Would it feel ghoulish? Would it disrespect Elvis's memory? Would fans even come? And what about the security and logistics of managing thousands of visitors every day? Priscilla had a vision. She believed Graceland was as important to Elvis's story as his music. It was where he lived, where he found peace, and where he died. It held a powerful emotional connection for fans. She hired Jack Soden, a financial manager, to help lead this effort. Soden and his team worked quickly. They had to turn a private residence into a public attraction. This meant building parking lots, gift shops, and setting up tours. The gamble paid off spectacularly. Graceland opened its doors on June 7th, 1982. It was an instant success. Tens of thousands of fans flocked to Memphis. They wanted to see where the king lived. This move saved the estate. It provided a steady, significant revenue stream. It turned a liability into the core asset of the Elvis Presley Enterprises business. It showed incredible foresight and a deep understanding of fan devotion. It also established a new model for managing celebrity legacies. But what if fans had rejected the idea? What was the backup plan if Graceland failed as a museum? And how much did the initial renovations and marketing truly cost, eating into precious reserves? Number 14, how did Priscilla Presley untangle the Colonel Parker problem? Colonel Tom Parker was Elvis Presley's manager for over 2 decades. He was a complex figure. Many say he was a genius promoter. Others say he exploited Elvis. He certainly took a massive cut, sometimes 50% or more, far above industry standards. After Elvis died, Parker still claimed he had a contract with the estate. He continued to manage Elvis's career posthumously. This created a huge problem for the executors. Priscilla Presley and the estate's lawyers started looking into Parker's dealings. They found a long history of questionable contracts. They realized Parker owned the rights to many of Elvis's recordings and had negotiated deals that were heavily in his favor. He had sold off parts of Elvis's music catalog. This meant the estate was not seeing the full income it should have from Elvis's existing work. This was a major legal and financial battle. It was not easy to challenge someone like Colonel Parker. He was a powerful and cunning figure, but Priscilla, showing remarkable strength, pushed for an investigation. The estate sued Parker. They accused him of misconduct and breach of fiduciary duty. The case went through the courts. Ultimately, in 1983, a settlement was reached, and Parker agreed to step away from managing Elvis's affairs. He sold his remaining interests to the estate for a reported $2 million. This was a crucial victory. It gave the estate control over Elvis's image, name, and music. It allowed them to properly manage the intellectual property. It was a clear example of needing to cut ties with a problematic past to secure a healthier future. It also highlighted the dangers of poorly structured management contracts for artists. Priscilla's decision to confront Parker, despite his long-standing relationship with Elvis, was pivotal. It ensured the estate could fully benefit from Elvis's continuing popularity. Could Elvis himself have broken free from Parker if he had lived longer? How much did Parker truly siphon off over the decades that remains unaccounted for? And did Parker ever truly regret his dealings, or did he always see himself as a shrewd businessman? Number 13 was the merchandising empire a stroke of genius or a natural evolution? With Graceland open and Colonel Parker out of the picture, the Elvis Presley estate could focus on building a true business. One of the most successful avenues was merchandising. Fans wanted to buy anything connected to Elvis. T-shirts, keychains, posters, albums, coffee mugs, you name it. The estate quickly moved to license Elvis's image and name for a vast array of products. This was not a simple task. It required careful brand management. They had to ensure quality control. They needed to find good partners. The goal was to create a wide range of products that appealed to different fan segments, from collectors to casual admirers. This expanded Elvis's reach far beyond music sales. It turned his image into a lucrative commodity. Elvis Presley Enterprises, or EPE, became very good at this. They understood the power of Elvis's brand. They did not just sell generic fan items. They often imbued products with a sense of nostalgia or a piece of Elvis's story. This approach helped maintain the authenticity of the brand. It prevented it from becoming cheap or tacky. They carefully chose what products to endorse. They also licensed his music for commercials and movies, bringing in additional revenue. This strategy helped transform the estate from a struggling entity into a financial powerhouse. It showed that a strong brand, even a posthumous one, can generate immense value through careful licensing and merchandising. It was not just about making money. It was about keeping Elvis relevant. It was about giving fans tangible ways to connect with his memory. The success of the merchandising arm was a testament to effective brand extension and intellectual property management. How many millions did the estate lose before it got control of merchandising? What were the truly bad licensing deals they had to shut down? And did any merchandise ever truly threaten the integrity of Elvis's image? Number 12. How did the estate protect Elvis's intellectual property? Elvis Presley's image, name, likeness, and music are incredibly valuable assets. But intellectual property IP is tricky to manage, especially after someone dies. The Elvis Presley estate had to build a robust system to protect these assets. This meant registering trademarks, copyrights, and actively pursuing anyone who tried to use Elvis's image without permission. This was a major undertaking. The music industry has clear copyright laws for songs and recordings. But personality rights, like the right of publicity, are more complex. They vary by state and country. EPE had to navigate this complex legal landscape. They hired legal teams to monitor unauthorized use. This included everything from bootleg merchandise to unlicensed impersonators. The estate worked hard to establish its ownership. They made it clear that Elvis Presley Enterprises was the sole authority for licensing Elvis's image. This protected the brand. It ensured that only approved products and projects carried his name. This also allowed them to command higher licensing fees. It prevented dilution of the brand. This focus on IP management was critical for the estate's long-term success. It turned Elvis's identity into a protected brand. It was a conscious effort to convert a cultural icon into a formal business asset. Without this aggressive protection, Elvis's image could have been fragmented and devalued by countless unauthorized uses. It would have been a free-for-all. This dedication to IP was a groundbreaking approach for a celebrity estate at the time. What were the most challenging legal battles over Elvis's likeness? How much money was spent on legal fees protecting the IP? And are there still hidden corners of the world where Elvis's image is exploited without the estate's knowledge? Number 11 was Priscilla Presley, the unsung hero of the estate's turnaround. When Elvis died, Priscilla Presley was thrust into a challenging role. She became a co-executor of his will, overseeing the inheritance of her daughter, Lisa Marie. She was not a trained businesswoman, but she demonstrated remarkable leadership and vision. Many credit her as the driving force behind the estate's incredible turnaround. Priscilla understood the emotional connection fans had with Elvis. She also understood the need to turn that connection into a sustainable business. She was the one who championed the idea of opening Graceland. She pushed for the legal battle against Colonel Parker. She made the tough decisions that saved the estate from bankruptcy. Her leadership was about more than just business acumen. It was about protecting Elvis's legacy with integrity. She wanted to ensure that anything done in his name honored his memory. This meant balancing commercialization with authenticity. She had to navigate family dynamics, legal challenges, and the intense scrutiny of the media and fans. Priscilla's determination transformed the estate. She built a professional management team. She empowered them to make strategic business decisions. She became the public face of the estate, often speaking about Elvis and guiding the brand. Her journey from grieving ex-wife to successful business leader is a compelling case study in crisis management and strategic development. She transformed not just the estate, but also her own role within Elvis's enduring story. How much personal sacrifice did Priscilla make for the estate? Did she ever doubt her decisions during the hardest times? And what would the estate look like today if someone else had taken the reins? Number 10. How did Lisa Marie Presley's inheritance shape the estate's future? Lisa Marie Presley was Elvis's only child. She was the sole heir to his estate. When Elvis died, she was only 9 years old. Her inheritance became the central focus of the estate's management. The goal was to grow her inheritance and ensure her financial future. As Lisa Marie grew up, she eventually inherited control of the estate. In 1993, on her 25th birthday, she officially took over as owner and chairwoman of Elvis Presley Enterprises. This was a significant moment. It showed the success of the management team that had rebuilt the estate. They had not only preserved it, but had grown its value substantially. By the time she took over, the estate was estimated to be worth over $100 million. Lisa Marie's direct involvement brought a new dynamic. She was the direct link to Elvis. She carried his name. While Priscilla continued to be involved, Lisa Marie had the ultimate say. She had to learn the complexities of running a major brand. She made decisions about new projects, licensing, and the direction of the Graceland operations. Her personal connection to Elvis was both a strength and a challenge. It gave the estate an authentic voice. But it also meant she dealt with immense public pressure and personal scrutiny. Over the years, Lisa Marie continued to manage and guide the estate. Her ownership ensured that Elvis's legacy remained within the family for a long time. It was an example of successful intergenerational wealth transfer, albeit one with unique pressures. What were Lisa Marie's biggest personal struggles managing such a famous legacy? Did she ever consider selling the entire estate during her tenure? And how much creative control did she truly exercise over the brand's direction? Number 9 is Graceland more than just a tourist attraction. Graceland is the heart of the Elvis Presley estate. It opened as a public museum in 1982. Since then, it has welcomed millions of visitors from all over the world. It is the second most visited house in the United States after the White House. But is it just a tourist attraction? The answer is no. It is the central pillar of the entire business. Graceland functions as a physical anchor for the Elvis brand. It provides a tangible experience for fans. It generates significant revenue through ticket sales, gift shops, and adjacent attractions like Elvis Presley's Memphis Entertainment Complex. But it does more than just make money. It preserves Elvis's story. It offers a pilgrimage site for fans. It is where Elvis lived, entertained, and where he rests. The management of Graceland requires extensive operational expertise. This includes managing visitor flow, maintaining the historical property, developing new exhibits, and providing customer service. It is a massive undertaking. Jack Soden, the CEO of EPE for many years, oversaw its development into a world-class attraction. They had to balance historical preservation with modern tourism demands. Graceland also serves as the headquarters for Elvis Presley Enterprises. Many of the business decisions are made there. It embodies the values and history of the brand. It shows how a single physical asset can be leveraged to support a much larger global enterprise. It is a powerful example of asset utilization and experiential marketing. It proved that a celebrity home could become a sustainable and profitable business on its own. How much is Graceland truly worth as a physical asset today? What is the maximum number of visitors Graceland can handle each year without losing its charm? And how much does the local economy of Memphis truly rely on Graceland's continued success? Number 8, how far can the Elvis brand expand globally? And Elvis Presley was a global superstar during his lifetime. His music reached every corner of the world. But after his death, the estate faced the challenge of maintaining and expanding that global presence. This meant actively marketing the Elvis brand internationally. The estate realized that Elvis's appeal was universal. His music transcended language barriers. His image was iconic. They focused on licensing agreements in different countries. They worked to secure performance rights. They supported Elvis fan clubs worldwide. This involved understanding local cultures and markets. Projects like Elvis the Exhibition toured major cities around the globe. The books about Elvis were translated into many languages. His music continued to sell in countries far from the United States. They collaborated with international artists on tribute albums. This proactive global strategy ensured that new generations discovered Elvis. It kept his music and image fresh in the minds of people who might not have been alive when he was performing. The estate showed that a well-managed brand can have endless global reach. It is not just about selling records. It is about cultural diplomacy. It is about understanding the power of a universal icon. The global expansion demonstrated the enduring power of Elvis's charisma. It also highlighted the estate's ability to adapt marketing strategies for diverse international audiences. What cultural nuances were hardest to navigate in different international markets? How much potential global revenue is still untapped for the Elvis brand? And could Elvis become even bigger in countries where he has a smaller presence today? Number 7, who controls Elvis's unreleased music and archives? As Elvis Presley recorded hundreds of songs, he left behind a vast archive of material. This included unreleased tracks, alternate takes, live recordings, and even home recordings. Managing this archive became a key part of the estate's strategy. It offered a steady supply of new content for fans. The estate carefully curated these recordings. They worked with record labels, primarily RCA, now part of Sony Music Entertainment, to release new albums and box sets. These releases often featured previously unheard material. They created special editions and remasters. This kept Elvis's music catalog active and relevant. This was not just about profit. It was also about preserving musical history. The estate had to make decisions about what to release and when. They balanced the desire to give fans new material with the need to maintain quality and authenticity. They understood that each new release reignited interest in Elvis. The ongoing release of archived material proved that a posthumous artist can still be a vibrant force in the music industry. Showed the immense value of a carefully preserved artistic legacy. The estate demonstrated how to monetize deep archives while respecting the artist's original intent. This strategy helped secure Elvis's place on music charts for decades after his death. How many truly unreleased masters are still locked away in the vaults? What ethical considerations come into play when releasing recordings an artist never intended for public consumption? And what is the long-term plan for the physical preservation of all Elvis's recordings and memorabilia? Number 6. How does the estate fight impersonators and bootleggers? With immense popularity comes unwanted attention. The Elvis Presley estate has faced a continuous battle against unauthorized use of Elvis's image and name. This includes everything from fake merchandise, known as bootlegs, to the thousands of Elvis impersonators around the world. The estate has had to walk a fine line with impersonators. On one hand, they help keep Elvis's memory alive. They engage fans. On the other hand, some impersonators have tried to profit unfairly from Elvis's likeness. The estate developed guidelines. They sought to distinguish between tribute artists who celebrate Elvis respectfully and those who infringe on intellectual property rights. They have pursued legal action against those who cross the line. Bootleggers are a clearer threat. These are individuals or groups who produce and sell unlicensed merchandise. This directly harms the estate's revenue. The estate employs legal teams and investigators to track down and prosecute bootleggers. This is an ongoing global effort. It requires constant vigilance. This challenge highlights the complexities of brand protection for a deceased celebrity. It shows the need for clear IP policies and aggressive enforcement. It also demonstrates the difficulty of controlling a widespread cultural phenomenon. The estate's efforts are about protecting the brand's integrity and value, not about stifling fan enthusiasm. It is a delicate balance. What percentage of annual revenue is lost to bootlegging? How many legal battles has the estate fought against impersonators and won or lost? And will there ever be an official Elvis Impersonator Hall of Fame sanctioned by the estate? Number 5, how is Elvis adapting to the digital age? The world has changed dramatically since Elvis died in 1977. Music consumption moved from vinyl to cassettes, CDs, and now to streaming and digital downloads. The Elvis Presley estate had to adapt to these technological shifts. This was not optional. It was essential for survival. The estate embraced digital platforms early on. They ensured Elvis's entire music catalog was available on streaming services like Spotify and Apple Music. They created official social media channels for Elvis. They developed online stores for merchandise. They understood that a new generation of fans needed to discover Elvis in new ways. They also explored more advanced digital experiences. This included virtual reality projects and partnerships with gaming companies. The goal was to make Elvis relevant to a digital native audience. This required significant investment and a willingness to experiment. It showed a progressive approach to brand management. This adaptation to the digital age is a testament to the estate's forward-thinking strategy. It proves that a legacy brand can remain current. It is not enough to simply exist. You must evolve. The estate's digital presence ensures that Elvis continues to connect with fans in a fragmented media landscape. It is about meeting the audience where they are, not expecting them to come to you in old ways. What are the biggest challenges in securing favorable streaming deals for a legacy artist? How does the estate balance digital fan engagement with preserving Elvis's historical image? And what kind of cutting-edge digital experiences for Elvis are still in development but not yet public? Number 4. What diversification strategies did the estate use beyond music and Graceland? While music and Graceland are the core, the Elvis Presley estate recognized the need to diversify revenue streams. This protected them from reliance on any single market. It also expanded the brand in new and exciting ways. One major area of diversification was entertainment. The estate has supported numerous films, documentaries, and stage shows about Elvis. The recent Elvis movie directed by Baz Luhrmann was a massive success. It introduced Elvis to a new global audience. The estate also licensed Elvis's image for various advertising campaigns. Another area was hospitality. They developed the guest house at Graceland Hotel. This luxury resort opened in 2016. It provided accommodation for Graceland visitors. It also offered meeting and event spaces. This created an entire ecosystem around the Graceland experience. It added another significant revenue source. These diversification efforts show a sophisticated business strategy. It moved beyond simple licensing. It involved creating new experiences and products directly controlled or heavily influenced by the estate. It demonstrated the ability to expand the brand horizontally, creating related businesses that fed into the core Elvis experience. It highlighted a proactive approach to growth and risk mitigation. How much financial risk did the estate take in building the guest house at Graceland? What other business ventures did the estate consider but ultimately reject? And could Elvis Presley Enterprises ever branch out into unrelated industries like fashion or tech under the Elvis brand? Number three, what happened when parts of EPE were sold? For decades, Lisa Marie Presley owned 100% of Elvis Presley Enterprises. But in 2004, she made a major business decision. She sold 85% of EPE to Robert FX Sillerman's CKX Inc. for approximately $100 million. And Lisa Marie retained 15% ownership. She also kept control of Graceland itself and the original artifacts inside it. This sale was a strategic move. It injected significant capital into Lisa Marie's personal finances. It also brought in new management and resources from a larger entertainment company. CKX Inc. was a public company. They had experience managing other iconic brands. They promised to invest heavily in expanding the Elvis brand globally. This meant a change in ownership and a new chapter for the estate. While Lisa Marie remained involved, the day-to-day management and overall strategic direction became heavily influenced by the new owners. CKX Inc. later sold its entertainment assets, including EPE, to Apollo Global Management. Then, in 2013, the majority ownership was acquired by Authentic Brands Group ABG. ABG is a major brand management company. These ownership changes are a common part of large business operations. They can bring fresh perspectives and investment, but they also raise questions about control and authenticity. The core management team, led by Jack Soden for many years, provided continuity. But the ultimate decision-makers changed. This shows the evolution of a brand from family ownership to being part of a larger corporate portfolio. Did Lisa Marie regret selling the majority stake in EPE? What were the internal debates about the right time and right buyer for the estate? And how much control does a multi-billion-dollar corporation truly give to the original family or legacy keepers? Number two, how do you balance authenticity with commercialization? This is perhaps the biggest ongoing challenge for the Elvis Presley estate. Elvis is a cultural icon. Fans have a deep emotional connection to him. They expect his legacy to be treated with respect. At the same time, the estate is a business. It needs to generate revenue to survive and grow. The balance between authenticity and commercialization is delicate. Over-commercialization can cheapen the brand. It can alienate loyal fans. Not enough commercialization means missed opportunities and potential financial struggles. The estate has consistently tried to maintain a high standard. They aim for quality products and experiences that genuinely reflect Elvis. For example, when developing new merchandise, they consider whether Elvis himself would approve. When licensing music, they try to place it in contexts that honor his image. They carefully curate exhibits at Graceland. They want to ensure that Elvis is portrayed accurately and respectfully. This commitment to authenticity has been a cornerstone of their success. This balancing act is a masterclass in brand stewardship. It shows that commercial success does not have to come at the expense of integrity. In fact, for a celebrity brand like Elvis, authenticity is a key driver of commercial value. It is about understanding the core values of the brand and never straying too far from them. It requires constant judgment and a deep understanding of the fan base. Have there been any commercial decisions that deeply divided the fan base? How do new owners, far removed from Elvis, understand and maintain this delicate balance? And what is the absolute red line the estate would never cross for commercial gain? Number one, what does the future hold for the King's legacy? Elvis Presley died over 45 years ago, yet his popularity endures. New generations discover his music and story every day. The Elvis Presley estate has done an incredible job of keeping his legacy alive and thriving. But what about the next 45 years? The future will bring new challenges and opportunities. Technology will continue to evolve. Music consumption habits will change. New entertainment formats will emerge. The estate must continue to innovate. This means exploring artificial intelligence, virtual reality, and other emerging technologies to keep Elvis present and relevant. Succession planning is also crucial. Lisa Marie Presley passed away in 2023. Her daughters, Riley Keough, Harper Lockwood, and Finley Lockwood, inherited her interest in the estate. Riley Keough is now the sole trustee of the estate, including Graceland. This new generation will face new decisions. They will carry the responsibility of upholding Elvis's legacy. The long-term strategy involves continuous brand management. It means finding new ways to tell Elvis's story. It means engaging new demographics. It means balancing the nostalgic appeal with contemporary relevance. The estate's ability to adapt and innovate will determine its success in the coming decades. Elvis's legacy is not just about the past, it is about the perpetual present and an imagined future. And will Elvis ever have a fully immersive holographic concert tour? How will the new generation of Presleys balance their personal lives with the immense responsibility of the estate? And will Elvis Presley's music and image still captivate the world in another 100 years?